Milan, 1576. An old man sits alone in a locked room. He has stopped eating. 3 days ago he wrote a letter. In it he named the exact day he would die. Today is that day. He is not sick, he is not injured, he is simply waiting. By nightfall, he will be dead. And historians still argue about what killed him. His name was Girolamo Cardano, mathematician, physician, gambler, astrologer. He solved equations that had stumped Europe for centuries. He also believed the stars could tell you the day you'd die, so he calculated his own. Then he told people the number. And then, the number came true. For 400 years, that's been the story. But the real mystery isn't whether he predicted it. It's how he made sure he was right. Cardano wasn't some mystic in a cave. He was one of the sharpest minds of the Renaissance. He gave the world the first real theory of probability. He published the solution to the cubic equation, a problem nobody had cracked. He was rich. He was famous. He was also, by his own admission, a compulsive gambler, which meant he understood something most people didn't: odds, chance, the difference between a coincidence and a pattern. That's what makes what happened next so strange. Because the man who understood odds better than anyone in Europe bet his own life on a prediction, and won. Or did he cheat? Here's what we know for certain. In his final years, Cardano cast his own horoscope. He announced a specific date of death using astrological charts. He told his students. He told his rivals. He wrote it down. This wasn't a vague warning. It was a date on a calendar. And calendars don't lie. People do. So, which was it? The date arrives. Cardano is old, but not dying, not sick, not in danger. By every medical account of the time, there was no reason for him to die that day. And yet, witnesses say he grew quiet in his final week. He settled his affairs. He stopped eating. Some accounts say he simply refused food and water until his body gave out. On the exact day he'd named years earlier, he died. No fever, no wound, no plague. Just an old man, alone, keeping a promise to a piece of paper. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. If Cardano starved himself to make his own prophecy come true, that's not a mystery. That's a man protecting his legacy with his own body. The greatest mathematician of his age, so afraid of being wrong that he made sure he couldn't be. But some historians push back on even that. They say the starvation story came later, added by admirers decades after his death to make the legend cleaner. Which means we don't actually know if he died on purpose. We don't know if he died naturally, on a date he got lucky with. We don't even know if the whole story was exaggerated after the fact. The only thing everyone agrees on: the date matched. So why does this story still spread 4 centuries later? Because it sits in a very specific, very uncomfortable gap, too documented to dismiss as myth, too strange to fully explain. Cardano himself wrote about fate constantly. He believed a person's character was fixed at birth, written into the stars, unchangeable. If that's true, predicting your death isn't fortune-telling. It's just reading the ending of a book you already know the shape of. But if it's not true, then a brilliant, rational man spent his final years making sure a superstition came true. Which is worse, being right about something impossible, or being so afraid of being wrong that you kill yourself to fix it. There's one more detail historians keep coming back to. Cardano wrote an autobiography before he died. In it, he lists his failures, openly, brutally: bad marriages, a son executed for murder, years of poverty and public humiliation. This was not a man protecting a flattering image. This was a man who told the truth about himself, even when it was ugly. Which raises the question no one can answer. If he was honest about everything else, why would this be the one lie? We'll never know for certain what happened in that locked room in Milan. Maybe Cardano read the numbers correctly, in a way we don't understand. Maybe he simply chose the ending to a story he'd already written. Either way, on the day he said he would die, he did. And maybe that's the real lesson buried in this 400-year-old mystery. Not that the stars can tell you when you'll die, but that the story you believe about yourself has a way of coming true. If you've made it this far, you already know the feeling of a story that won't let you go. That was Cardano's whole life.